Short films got easier to make, harder to get noticed. And I asked the HollyShorts Film Festival founders what 20 years in the industry actually looks like.
We started, it was pre-YouTube, believe it or not.
So there wasn't so much of this focus on the internet and posting films online or content or videos online, and people can share and channel and, hey, watch my channel, subscribe. None of that stuff was a thing yet. We were in this phase where it was a different process to just even do all this stuff. So how we receive the films, how we watch the films, how we organize our process.
And so the films were physical, DVDs, digibeta, beta tapes. It was old school. Filmmakers now won't even know VHS. Yeah, a lot of film projectionists. We had to deal with projectionists in the cinemas.
Okay, here's our second round pile. Here's our pile of films that are maybes. Here's our pile of films that have no shot, you know, bins and bins of DVDs. Whereas now it's all click of a button, and we can watch films so readily accessible on our phone, laptop, project onto the screen on a TV and plug it in, all so easily. But the process wasn't like that then. It was not easy. It was very difficult.
You could make something beautiful and it would have an edge. The ease of making films really wasn't there. And then so it got democratized over the years, where digital took over and it was a little bit easier for people to have access to equipment. And so you started seeing the quality go up year after year.
So you can see a short film made with a smaller budget that can look like a huge sort of blockbuster feel and look. So now you can create a world building thing where you do some virtual production and you make a film look like it's on a different planet and all these things. And so now you're having sci-fi films come around, where in the early years it was all more thesis films and dramas.
So then that changed the playing field. So it didn't just need to be pretty, you needed story. Story was important before, but it became more and more important.
And then over the years, 10 years go in, and now we're starting to see all of that wave of amazing films and filmmakers making all these shorts that were much different than we'd ever seen before.
As far as the filmmakers go, we contributed a little bit to the problem. I'd like to say we became, it's good and bad, we became Oscar qualifying maybe 7-8 years ago, and it made it very competitive. And then now you have a whole other industry, which is, you can say, is fair or not fair, of people pouring in a lot of money to campaign for the Oscars. And we, you know, the festivals have contributed to that. They want a chance to get shortlisted or nominated. And so that's one of the biggest things I've seen, is how competitive it is, just like features.
So over these 20 years, we've seen this kind of this sort of change of the landscape that way as well.
The HollyShorts Film Festival founders were avoiding change until the industry gave them no choice.
The access to gear, to VFX technologies, all these things have changed. So you can see a short film made with a smaller budget that can look like a huge sort of blockbuster feel and look, where in the early years it was all more thesis films and dramas. You didn't see much of that with shorts. So over these 20 years, we've seen this kind of this sort of change of the landscape that way as well.
That's why we love technology. You know, we've seen it. We're very careful not to be stuck in one place. We're very cautious. We want to move how it's moving. We've done it before. We had a company approach us maybe 6 years in or 5 years in, and they were like, guys, the way these films are being shown is going to change. You should change, because you won't be able to show them in cinemas. And we were resistant at first. We were like, we don't know. The system works. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then we went on a limb, and then we went with another company to kind of hack it as far as digital projection. And that was a disaster. I mean, a disaster. And the following year,
some adventures, man. Some adventures over the years. There's been some adventures. That was some crazy stuff.
At the Cinerama Dome. Yeah, that was at the Cinerama Dome. We have a crowd of 500, and we hadn't really mapped out. It was a weird time where technology of digital cinema production was just getting there. It wasn't quite there yet. It was sketchy, but we survived it. And then the next year we adapted, we made the right changes, and we embraced this new company. And then that became the gold standard for showing the movies in these theaters worldwide.
No one in Hollywood actually knows what will work.
This process has always been, is the arts element. There's a guessing game involved of, we're making something and we have no knowledge of if anyone will actually really like this or not. So some of these ideas are out there and you're like, wow, this is not going to work. And then it ends up working. It becomes a huge hit. But there is this disconnect of knowing what's going to land and stick and not. All these people in the business, executives, we tend to realize and always joke about it in the business, no one really knows anything, right? But they're trying to streamline that and say, no, we know. We're going to connect our audience directly with our creators with these ideas, and they're going to be able to try to work together or fund it, or so they're trying to bridge this gap in a way. Release, marketing money spent, splash made, and trailers everywhere. But if it doesn't work or connect, it doesn't matter how much money you spend, or people see the trailer on TV every day. If they don't care for it, it looks bad, they don't like the stars, or they don't think it's going to be good, then they're just not going to go see it, and then it doesn't work, and the money's gone, and then the movie goes sort of by the wayside.
Just remember what one of the aspects of the future is going to be. Anybody can make a movie. That's part of the future, is everybody can be a creator. Every single person on the planet can be a creator. You know that whole thing where they go to film festivals and they made their short because they could afford to make make the short man. And that was the thing they used to actually get noticed and try and get a studio to give them money to make the full-length version that they've been trying to do. And that thing played over and over again. But now anybody can make a full-length motion picture in the privacy of their own home. They can rip a trailer from it and start just sending the trailer to distributors. It's going to be wackadoodle.
There's no rule book with the short story and the short films. That's what we love about it. That's one of the things we love most, is that it's not the sales aspect. The 3-act structure is not important here. It's about a great film and a great ending, and it can be what it has to be for the story. And it can be heart-wrenching, depressing, intense, sad. It's not always just, hey, this has to be satisfying and a happy ending, and then we all feel good. It's many times often the opposite with many of the shorts, especially the short dramas. So that's the beauty of the short filmmaking and shorts.
Straight from the founders, how HollyShorts Film Festival actually started.
What's the commercial parameters of short films?
We started this, it was by accident, and we had a structure of the event in our minds, but we didn't know if it would work. So we created the structure. It was like, we did an application, we put for YouTube, we don't have a name yet. We did call for entry via a local newspaper, and people started sending their stuff from all over the place. I don't even know how they heard of us. And we showed 23, we had one film from Sundance, we had one pretty known casting director. The theater is a piece of crap, but there's something there. We did it one after party, but there was something there. Because maybe we put our heart into it, of the event, just like they put their heart in making the work. And then we kept building on that every year, right? So it was like family business. We get together, we watch the films on the weekends. And then in August, every August is our Super Bowl. It's almost like a family cookout where we meet the creators that make them. So the part you haven't seen yet, which you are gonna see, is the talking to the people that make the stuff that you like. And that's like a whole nother thing. It's like the fourth wall.
A short film doesn't always have to become a feature. It just has to get you in the room.
Another cool thing about short filmmakers, it's not their day job. It's the thing they do when they're not working because they have so much passion for it.
The festival started getting momentum, and then we would go to other festivals around the world and have ideas and conferences and music, not just film festivals. We just look at it as a festival. We don't even think of it as a short festival. That's the other thing that's interesting. This is the medium for us. And sometimes it gets weird when people say shorts and features. We're like, oh, yeah, I guess we are just shorts, but we don't think like that. We try to bring it to the highest level, and then we bring people from Hollywood, because we both worked at studios, and we brought the professionalism to the next generation part. It started having this next gen and established filmmaker, and they both need each other. It's only like a few years in, some guys like, yeah, I went to a film block and I work at Nike, and we signed a creator. So what happened is, it's not just the content that has commercial viability. Some of them do. A script phase can be tied up with a brand or seamlessly with a brand, like Hair Love, the film that wins the Oscar by Matthew Cherry. But some of them, it's the creator. Sometimes we've had first look deals with companies, and they're like, we love the short. It doesn't click for us to adapt it to a feature or anything further or a series, but we want that director to make something for us. So sometimes it's a calling card. Sometimes it's the brushstroke that shows the viability of the creator to work on something else that could be, more grand. But then there's companies writing checks. We love that. It's the Wild West.
Whether there's people love AI, filmmakers are mad, the industry, AI, actors are worried, all this stuff, but there is no denying that there's...
The founders of HollyShorts are watching the shift towards AI in real time.
This is the first year I've noticed that there's been a number of actual submissions that are essentially just AI generated films. I've never seen it before. It's the first time, like just from our process of all the years of watching. Last year, there was really maybe like a film or two, maybe. But one film was actually just doing something just to sort of make an example out of AI, or so it wasn't really, it was more about AI as a theme. But there was one film that was literally made with AI. That was about it. This year, it's a lot more.
I think they have the tools.
Probably hundreds.
Yeah, it's
of films that are just, especially of course, mostly in the animation realm. I'm just okay, it's an animation, right? Because you can spit out a film in theory that's non-human. I mean, a lot more. Whether there's people love AI, filmmakers are mad, the industry, AI, actors are worried, all this stuff, but there is no denying it's being used. There's the amount of submissions, either using it for some moments. Some films use it for sort of VFX, where they have a creature that's an AI-generated creature, monster, this kind of thing. We've seen that a few times. That's new. That's something for us. This is very new to see this amount of films and to see this very consistently that way. So it's happening.
What do all winning short films have in common in HollyShorts Film Festival?
The common theme is mostly, if it's sort of narrowing down to like one thing or a thing, most of the winners are dramas and something that has an influence or an impact. Not often a comedy that's going to win Best best short at our festival. It can be comedic in nature, or be lighthearted, or be funny, but maybe darkly comedic. It's something that has to have, again, it goes back to that impact. The story, the nature, say, of course, go back to films like Skin, right? Skin, okay? That's one of our champion winners. That film won our festival. We qualified it, went on to win the Oscar. Then it has the feature to follow up, and then it does well, gets distributed and all the things. Our champion film, we always bring up a social impact film. Obviously, a really heavy twist with what happens in the end. And it's a film about racism and things, and then all this stuff, and literally about the tattoo artist. They put the tattoo on him so that he thinks his son is actually black. So like, there's this impact of like what that means and stuff. So it's a shock factor, and also the story has impact of what's going on in the world. So stories that have impact of what's happening. So we see that every year, right? Because the films are made within a year.
Always a reflection of the world.
Usually the common thread is that it's not just maybe a film that's just like family drama that's very simple, dinner table scene, and a bad example. But it's not something just too simplistic. It's usually something that has a really nice underlying overview of what's happening in the world that people relate to. That's also very, very important.
Who picks better films? Industry insiders or the audience?
We're doing an experiment inside the experiment. Who's better at picking winners? The industry or the fans? We are going to end up with these two groups of winners, and I doubt they're going to be the same films.
It's pretty cool.
Wouldn't it be wild if they're the same? That'd be crazy.
We just created this thing and no one took it seriously. And sometimes when you stick around long enough, it becomes something. If you stay consistent, right? And then it gets bigger and bigger. But I think the idea of audience, that combination of story, experience, and then audience power, is really strong.
It's a bit of a tagline on the goal, right? Is connecting global audience with the filmmakers. Because in-person things provide a lot of value. To be in the theater, to be in Los Angeles, to travel there, all the different things, and to get people to see the films and have an audience to be able to have a say in the films. So that is an extension of that.
One IP, one short can become IP, grow a cult following online. You can have a short that has a fan base because of the subject matter, and then now they're coming to this. It's about a panda bear. Everyone's dressed up like a panda bear. You got 100,000 panda bears marching. It could be like a Comic-Con. You know what I mean? So yeah. We like that. We like the possibility of the unknown. And secretly, we've always wanted to do engaging competition. So it came at the right time. You guys have your head on straight with this vision, and so it's perfect alignment.
This is the biggest thing missing from most filmmakers' careers.
You are an alumni of an elite group. Most of them are pretty good. Just schmoozing, networking, going, having like cards, a way for people to watch your film online, that if you missed the screening, you could watch it. Expanding the reach of your fans. I think maybe they haven't done that yet. Getting more people to support you, because that ecosystem can be leveraged for what lies ahead, whether it be expanding it or a campaign. What I would advise is, one, to follow the footsteps of a film that you've liked before. See some of the things that they've done that your film is comparable to. There are buyers sometimes, there are distributors, there are companies like Omleto that buy these movies. But we're in LA, you can use that momentum of being in Los Angeles to book meetings. You can research companies in advance and have meetings while you're in town for the festival. You can look at other films and then say, hey, I like that person. Let me connect with them right now and talk to them later and have a meeting and have a coffee with them.
Let's make up an example of someone like Kevin Hoffman. I forget where he's from. I know he's European. He connected at the festival with Matthew Modine, and through that connection, now they've collaborated on a number of things. But that's because he made that happen, being present at our festival. And so you have the mixture of producers, directors, actors, all in a place together. So take advantage of that. Be present, do the Q&A, do the stuff, go to the panels and hit the panelists up, and again, use that badge of honor, like, okay, my film is playing. I have a film here, I made it. It's a way to sort of get people's attention. The filmmakers can connect with people in the industry that way, and the industry wants to meet them as well because they're there at the festival. As Theo said earlier, like sort of our chance to sort of meet the creators, and it's like our moment to actually connect and talk to them about it. So we saw these films, we love them, we put them in, but we don't know these people yet. Now we get to know them, but we almost feel like you do know them. So you've seen the films, you've seen the bios, their pictures, so you see them there, like, wait, I've seen your stuff on our computer or whatever. Now you're here, and I love your movie. Now you can connect, and so it's already this automatic thing. It's like this sort of built-in connection. It's a weird thing. It's an interesting vibe. So that's a very important part of that process.
Out of 7,000 submissions to the HollyShorts Film Festival, only 493 get in. What separates them? The founders have a very specific answer.
This is 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago. We throw these crazy parties. So we're at the Roosevelt, and this people are like, man, this is incredible. We're at the Roosevelt pool. This is amazing. And somehow Disney had a premiere at the same time, and they shut off the whole Hollywood Boulevard. This happens a lot. We had like Jean-Claude Van Damme come to our party by accident. We had Dennis Rodman come to our party by accident. All through the years, just because we're in LA, we're in Hollywood, and there's another event happening.
Pretty sure he had a shirt off too. He had a shirt off, and I don't know why his shirt was like.
And sometimes they'll come to our thing, and they're like, I'm having a better time here. They stay. This happens all the time. This time, it was like, I like to think it was, Kat Coro, so she directed She-Hulk, and the premiere's happening. She's one of our alums. So now she's graduated, making this big tentpole for Disney, and it's their after party in the same place as ours.
Oh no!
And you have the executives there, and then one filmmaker comes to us, and he's going crazy. I'm like, what's wrong, man? He's like, you won't believe this. You know, this is a Disney party too, right? I'm like, yeah, no. He's like, I pitched this executive about my short film, and I have a meeting there this weekend. I have a pitch meeting at Disney. Like,
yeah, we saw Kat right there, like, you know, and it was an awesome embrace. It was so cool. Like, she's like, oh, you guys are here, your party, and it was a cool, like, a moment of just like seeing her do her thing and kind of how great her career's been going, and it all just happened. It wasn't planned, you know, but then she's there with her thing, and so that she come to the after party, she's there, we're partying, we're celebrating, so we're all having a moment and talking about it. It was cool to have that sort of a moment like that.
I can read Luciana's mind. What she's thinking possibly is, okay, that's cool. What makes the creator go a step above? From 7,000 to 493, what makes them become the next Kat Coro? I'll tell you, just like the Kobe Bryant mentality, there's something else.
I'm the best. But are you a different animal and the same beast?
What the does that mean, Kobe Bryant?
You're welcome.
What is he talking about?
Sometimes it's not the most skilled. Sometimes they already have the skills. It's another layer of obsessiveness, of wanting it more, of connecting and taking the connection deeper. JT Molnar is another director of ours. Spirit, his connection, his heart, his energy. People want to work with him. I have clients that just email me that say they want to work with him. It's like he's contagious.